Am I the asshole for refusing to share my birthday with my stepmother? My stepmother's birthday is the day after mine. Since my father started dating her, about 10 years ago, I've been expected to share almost every celebration that we make for my birthday with her. I was fine with it because I was in my early 20s and had other people to celebrate with, namely my mum and my friends. But it still bothered me that my dad and I couldn't have our own thing. I am married with 2 kids, 8 male and 3 female, and we have a little tradition. Because I was born in the second half of June, there's usually a Pixar movie playing in the theaters. Every year on my birthday, we go to the movies to watch it and then have dinner together. We've been doing this since my son was 3, though we watched the movies at home in 2020 and 2021. This year, we're watching Inside Out 2. It'll be my daughter's first time joining us. She just started sitting through movies, so we're all very excited. I'd never told my father or stepmother about this tradition. Last week, while we were visiting them, my kids told them that we'd be going to the movies for my birthday, and I ended up explaining everything. The next day, my father and stepmother called me to tell me that they were paying for the whole family, me, kids, husband, and both of them, to go to the movies and have dinner just like I had planned. It was obvious they intended to celebrate my stepmother's birthday at the same time. They referred to it as our birthdays and suggested her favorite place for dinner. I told them that while I understood that it was close to her birthday as well, this is a tradition intended to only celebrate mine, and I prefer to enjoy it with my children and husband. As such, I prefer to pay for myself and would appreciate it if they didn't join us. They are both very upset. My father called me entitled for refusing to celebrate my stepmother's birthday as well as mine, and said that I'm sending a terrible message to my kids by refusing to share. I feel like I'm too old to be acting like this over my birthday, but I don't want to share this tradition with her. Am I the arsehole? In the comments, Miss Susie Sunshine says, "Not the arsehole. First of all, they invited themselves to the movie celebration. You didn't invite them. That was rude of your father. Secondly, how awful to have to always share your birthday celebration with the new wife. Why can't you have a celebration of your own? It's almost as though your father thinks no one will come if the celebration is only for the new wife. Lastly, your father is the one sending a terrible message to your kids by making sure they know how unimportant your birthday is to him that he forces you to share it with the new wife. It's sad that the wife can't be the voice of reason and say, 'It's okay, we can do mine separately.' But she isn't. She too is upset about it. Talk about entitled. Not you. I would tell them that this is a family tradition between you, your kids, and your husband, and that they're welcome to create their own family traditions for the new wife that don't include your family, and that all of you can get together at some later date to celebrate the both of you." Professional Ruin says, if OP is too old to be feeling proprietary over her own birthday celebration, then her dad's wife is way too old to be hijacking OP's birthday and crying over having to acknowledge that OP deserves her own celebration. Who doesn't deserve their own celebration? There are identical twins that have separate birthday celebrations throughout their whole lives because they each deserve to have an event where they are the celebrated person. Hold your ground, OP. You deserve your own party. Introduction OK says, not the asshole. Even if this was your own mother's birthday, or you had a great relationship with your stepmother, you're allowed to have family traditions exclusive to your spouse and kids, and want to celebrate with your own family. The family you made is now your top priority, not the family that you came from. Sounds like your dad is too lazy and entitled to come up with his own celebration for you and his wife, so he's hijacking your celebration. Understandable that feelings are going to be hurt in a situation like this, but in my point of view, their feelings deserve to be hurt because they didn't take into account how you would feel about them hijacking your plans. They just said, "Oh no, we'll pay for everything, but we get to decide how your special day goes." Well then, sorry, that's not happening. You can pay for everything if you'd like, but you don't get control over the event. You weren't specifically invited to this for a reason, because it's our family tradition. My kids just so happened to slip up and reveal that we were doing this. But wouldn't you think that Given the fact we've been doing this for a good 5 or more years now, you would have known about it by now if you were invited, and all of a sudden, you're finding out 5 years after. Newsflash, because you're not invited. So don't be upset and don't be pissed off when we refuse to share my birthday with you too. I think it's good and reasonable to have boundaries around things like this, because if you give them this one, what else will they be overstepping in the future and then be like, well, you let us do it before, we think it's perfectly reasonable to do it in this instance as well. Not the arsehole. And now, onto the update. I posted here about a year ago and meant to update, but completely forgot about it. Still, I was very grateful for your replies, so I wanted to let you know what's been going on. First of all, as I write this, I've just celebrated my birthday, June 22, with my husband and kids. We watched Elio in the theaters and went to a restaurant that I love. It was wonderful. My father and stepmother were not involved, as they've traveled for her birthday. Secondly, your comments on my first post, as well as some other things I had going on in my life at the time, led me to reflect a lot about my relationship with my father. I've chosen to save the majority of that for therapy, but what's most relevant here is that I realized I don't really know how to celebrate my birthday. I've been expected to prioritize what others wanted since I was a teenager. The things we'd do and the places I'd celebrate at were rarely my picks and always for someone else's benefit. Whenever I said anything about that, I would get told that I was acting spoiled. My stepmother's presence made it a lot worse. At least when I was younger, it still felt like it was about me. I genuinely love the birthday tradition that I have with my family, but I have no idea what I'd like to do otherwise. One day, me or my children might grow out of this, or these films will plummet in quality to a degree that even I can't defend. If that time comes, I need a backup plan. I've spent the majority of the last year discovering things that I genuinely enjoy doing. I'm almost always busy at work, so I'm still working on it, but I have made some progress. Turns out, I love pinball, painting, board games, and building miniatures. My abilities on all of the above range from mediocre to awful. But I have time to learn, and the list keeps growing. My husband just got me a huge Lego set for my birthday. We started working on it after the kids went to bed, and it will take us a while to finish it, but I love it already. As for my father and stepmother, after our celebration last year, which they didn't hijack as some of you thought they would, things were rough for a while. I ended up having a few long conversations with my father about our relationship. Most relevant here, I made it very clear that the fact we couldn't at least celebrate my birthday privately upset me a lot, and I will not share my birthday with my stepmother anymore. Overall, our relationship is doing alright. Not great, but it's better than last year. I do feel like it's something that we're both working on improving. I think that's everything. Thanks everyone. In the comments, Riker Omega 3 says, as someone who has shared their birthday their entire life with multiple family members, good on you for standing up for yourself. I don't even celebrate my birthday anymore. I just go out to eat with my folks, and that's it. No cake, no gifts, just a dinner out. My birthday was never special growing up, never special during my adult life, so I just gave up and accepted that it's not special to anyone but me. So I treat myself to something I want but don't need, like buy myself an expensive steak. And that's it. I don't think I would even know what to do if someone prioritized my birthday. It would feel so foreign to me. And I guess my opinion, well, the truth comes out. Who would have thought that the father had set a precedent by just not prioritizing OP at all in her life, and that there were many more stories to be told, most of which only therapy can process. It's an unfortunately common tale when you find stories like this where people have been treated like a doormat and become conditioned to being a doormat in many situations like this. And it really sucks to see, and I imagine it takes a lot of work to undo all of the damage over the years of being treated as such, and then having to combat Situations exactly like that come up again later in life, like right now. You have 2 kids, and he still expects you to act like the doormat that he made you to be in your early years. It's not easy. It's not easy to deal with situations like this, and I'm glad that you came and got extra help, extra validation to tell you that you are doing the right thing. Put yourself first. You are not wrong for telling them to piss off. As you should, OP. Good job, and I'm proud of you. Thank you for the story. Our next post is by user Soggy Biscuit, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole here for punching my mum's boyfriend after he shoved my dog off the couch so aggressively it landed awkwardly on the floor, whimpered in pain, and couldn't stand on its leg afterwards? My mum's boyfriend, male 40s, does not like dogs. He doesn't have a phobia or anything, he just does not like them and has said so himself. He came over and him and my mum were sitting next to each other watching TV while I, 19 male, was on the couch just playing on my phone. He got up to go to the bathroom and my dog jumped on the couch and sat where he was sitting. When he came back and noticed that the dog took his spot on the couch, he shoved it so hard it fell on the floor, yelped and whimpered, and couldn't stand up on its leg. It was a very hard shove, and it all happened so fast, but when I registered what just happened, I stood up, quickly walked up to him and punched him as hard as I could, and then gently picked up my dog. My mum yelled at me, asking me what's wrong with me, while her boyfriend got up all in my face, swearing at me and threatening to beat me up, but my mum got in between us. I took my dog to the vet, and he had a broken leg and needed surgery. I had to use all the money that I've been saving up to make the surgery happen. My mum didn't even contribute a penny. Despite all of this, she's still mad at me for punching her dog, boyfriend, and doesn't understand why I acted that way over a dog. She wanted me to apologize to him, but this is the hill that I will die on." In the comments, Awesome Luck says, "Not the asshole. Tell him that you'll report him to the SPCA if he doesn't cover the bill. I would make him cover the bill and then report it. Fuck him and people like him. Animal cruelty comes with jail time these days. Cannot second this enough. Report the psycho. Time to move out, bud. For your safety and your health and the health of your pet. Do you have any family that can help?" OP says, "I wish I did. This incident and other ones in the past where my mum took his side even when he was in the wrong is the reason that I've been saving up to move out, but with everything that happened, that's not going to happen anytime soon." Sometimes No replies, "I bet there are people in your life that would give you support that you don't even realize. Do any of your friends or teachers/boss know how bad it is at your home? Well then move out and figure out how to pay for it later. That's the advice that I wish someone gave me as a 19-year-old. I'm giving it to you now. When your mum finally gets around to calling, don't answer. She's made her choice, and until this runs its course, she is not choosing you." OP says, "If only I could. It's literally impossible for me and my pup to move out right now. I now have less than $200 to my name. I have no choice but to start saving up from scratch. I won't look back once I'm out though." EDW Buck says, "That's the mentality that I had, and it didn't serve me well. Find a friend, ask if you can crash at his place. Treat him and his family like a king because you know how much they mean to you. Move into someone's garage, live without heat or AC. You don't know how bad you have it until that kind of living starts to look good. Now that you gut punched her boyfriend, do you really think it's going to get better? I mean, is he suddenly going to realize he's been a lesser version of himself for years, and now it's time to turn a new leaf? Do you think your mum's going to finally realize her son is right, and she needs to whip her man, and not her son, into shape? If you examine the situation for even a few minutes, or even a day, you'll know it's going to be the same tomorrow as it was yesterday, or worse, because now you're the one that can become violent. If you had a voice in the matter that could speak reasonably and be heard, it would have been heard by now." I think that's some good grounded advice. Whether OP takes it or not is completely up to them. I would like to see them action that advice and get out of the abusive situation that they are in. though I understand it is not always possible. Everyone has different circumstances that allow or negate for different things to be possible in their life. This strong and passionate individual within me wants to say, get the hell out of there. Go stay with a friend until you can get yourself on your feet, because yeah, what they're saying is true. It's not going to get better. You're not going to be treated with the respect that you deserve. And you know that, and you should know that. You should do better for yourself now while you still can. I don't think you're the asshole for punching your mum's boyfriend. What he did was disgusting, and your mum should have recognized it as such, because animal abuse is the first sign of abuse that's going to be targeted towards you. Or it's also a very good indicator of a psychopath that is ready to kill people, who knows? But that's a choice that she, as your mother OP, is making, and it won't go well for her. I can guarantee you that. She will learn her lesson eventually when she sows what she reaps. I don't think you're the asshole in this situation, but I do hope that you can dig your way out of this hole that you now find yourself in. And now, on to the update. I want to thank all who replied to my post. I appreciated the validation and reassurance that I wasn't an asshole for my reaction, and that most people would have done the same thing. A lot of the commenters made me realize that we needed to move out ASAP because my dog was in danger after what happened. So many possibilities that I hadn't considered, and it got me thinking, what if something worse than last time happened? The reality is, I can't protect him whenever I'm at work or out, and anything could happen because my mum still let that scumbag come over and he's still pissed off at me. But the feeling is mutual. I feel like I would be failing my dog by not trying every single avenue I could to get us out of that hostile environment, because waiting until I save up enough money to be able to afford moving out would take a while, and I was not prepared to rehome him like some comments suggested. I reached out to everyone I could think of, and for the most part I was turned down because of my dog. But a friend of mine talked to his uncle and explained my situation and its urgency, and the uncle agreed to let my pup and I stay in his backyard shed for now while I try to find something more permanent for us. So this morning, I packed my bags and the dog's things, and we went there. It's not much, but the most important thing is that my pup is safe now while I figure things out, and I'm also looking for a second job, so fingers crossed. I did talk to my mum before we left to explain why we are moving out, and just to tell her how I feel about everything, but it turned into an argument about how I don't want to see her happy because I'm going out of my way to paint her boyfriend as a monster, which he is? So that was that. Thank you for all the caring and encouraging comments. In the comments, Fiesta Fan says, her boyfriend is a monster. People who abuse animals will abuse their partner eventually. And OP says, I really hope that it doesn't get to that. Winterworld says, why the hell haven't you reported him for animal cruelty? He broke your dog's leg. He can face jail time for that. I've seen it happen. Fucking get his ass locked up for God's sake. I'm an NPC, so what says, I'm sorry you're dealing with this, but good job keeping yourself and your pets safe. When your mother eventually wisens up or gets injured herself, she might come back and apologize to you. Good luck to her, and good luck to you and your pup. And OP says, thank you. I would never have been able to live with myself if anything happened to him when I could have prevented it. As for my mum, I really hope she knows what she is doing. I'm an NPC, so what replies, she doesn't sound like the best person. I've been in abusive situations, and I know they're hard to get out of, but I'm not a mum. No, she doesn't sound like the best person, and she doesn't sound like she knows what she's doing, because, I don't know, it's 2025? Have we not repeated enough times that people that abuse animals will abuse you? It's not even an if at this point. It's just happened so much. Have we not beaten society over the head with true crime documentaries that prove that fact? He's just following the manipulator playbook. He's isolating OP's mum, getting all her support systems away from her, normalizing abuse, normalizing animal abuse, getting her to defend it, getting her to defend everything about this guy. Like, If I was OP, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be getting the hell out of there with the dog as fast as possible before the dog ends up dead, reporting that guy to as many agencies as possible to make sure that something is done about him, getting a restraining order, and telling as many people as possible how much of a psychopath he is, and telling her that she's gonna end up dead if she stays with this guy. Still would not be an asshole regardless, and I think he deserves another punch to his gut for being the terrible person that he is. Thank you for the story, OP. Thank you for doing the right thing here, and showing that it is possible to get out of situations like this, even when you have no money. I hope things continue to look up for you. Our next post is by user Cotton Candy Dragons, titled, "Am I the asshole for telling my brother-in-law that someone is going to punch his girlfriend one day?" Continuing on the punching stories. So my older sister recently got married to her long-term fiancé. They are both polyamorous and both have a separate partner each. I have met my sister's boyfriend a few times at holiday events, and he was really nice. My brother-in-law's girlfriend is named Sally, and I've met her once before at their engagement party, and she seemed nice, but she also seemed like the type of person who wants to be the center of attention. She talked over everyone, insisted on helping my sister open any gifts they received, and she even told people that she's the reason my sister and my brother-in-law were getting married because she is officiating the wedding. It all rubbed me the wrong way, but as long as my sister and brother-in-law were cool with it, who was I to say anything? Things did get a little weird towards the end of the party, however, because Sally got pretty drunk and started very loudly proclaiming how monogamy was ruining relationships and was disgusting. That the only real reason people aren't open with their love is because they are scared, insecure, jealous, and controlling. This made most of the people left at the party visibly uncomfortable, and most left soon after because she wouldn't stop. Even after my brother-in-law took her aside and told her to calm down. I was helping my sister clean up from the party when Sally started questioning me about my stance. My boyfriend had to work, so he wasn't at the party. My sister tried to squash the discussion, but Sally ignored her and asked again. I very calmly explained that I tried polyamory once and quickly realized that it wasn't for me and that I was now in a very happy monogamous relationship, but totally support non-monogamous relationships. Sally started to say something, but my sister very firmly told her that she was drunk and to go lay down. She rolled her eyes, but did stomp back to the bedroom. My sister then explained how Sally was usually very nice, but did make being poly her whole personality, which had caused problems before. Flash forward a few weeks later to the wedding itself, everything went great. It was beautiful, and everyone seemed happy. During the reception, my boyfriend and I were talking to my mum, and Sally approached us to say hi. She's met my mum quite a few times, and my mum is the type to love everyone. My mum reintroduced me, and also introduced my boyfriend. Nothing seemed off. We all said our pleasantries, and that was it. A little later, my boyfriend went to get some drinks for us while I danced with my sister. It was taking him longer than I expected, so I went to go looking for him. To my surprise, he was being cornered by Sally near the drink table. His back was literally to the wall, and every time he took a step away from her, she would step closer. She was also rubbing his arm in a flirty way. I couldn't hear what she was saying to him, but the relief on his face when he saw me told me everything I needed to know. The only thing I did hear was her whining, "Oh, come on." I walked up and grabbed my drink from his hand, which finally made her take a few steps back. I asked what they were talking about, and she very bluntly and flirtatiously replied, "I was just telling him how much I love gingers." My boyfriend, obviously, is a ginger. I simply told her, as calmly as I could, to stop being an effing see you next Tuesday, and there were plenty of single people at the wedding that she could hit on. She said something back, but I was already pulling my boyfriend away and didn't hear nor care. The rest of the night was uneventful, other than normal wedding fun. A few days later, my brother-in-law texted me to say I needed to apologize to Sally because flirting with people is part of her personality and she didn't do anything wrong. Opie, your brother-in-law is delusional. I told him that one day she's going to come across someone less nice than me and she's going to get her shit rocked. My brother-in-law thinks I'm being petty and an asshole. My sister and my mum think I was justified and that Sally was being disrespectful. In the comments, Zarian Vale says, "Not the asshole. There's a difference between being poly and being messy. Your sister and her boyfriend might be open, but that girl is wide open in all the worst ways. No one asked her to give a keynote speech on how monogamy is evil and then follow it up by stalking your ginger boyfriend like she was trying to unlock a cheat code. Flirting is her personality is not the defense that he thinks it is. Assault is technically a personality trait too. Doesn't make it okay. You were not mean. You were setting a boundary the loudest way that she would finally understand. Maybe the only reason she hasn't gotten slapped yet is because people like you are still trying to be semi-civil. She needs to chill or someone's gonna flirt with her jawline." OP replies, "It definitely felt like she was targeting me specifically, and my boyfriend became a casualty and victim. Part of me feels like she secretly wanted me to cause a scene and potentially ruin the wedding. But that could also just be me overthinking. This whole thing has also made me look at my brother-in-law in a whole different light." With a dull adhesiveness replies to OP, "The fact that your brother-in-law condones and defends her behavior is concerning to say the least. He does not understand respect and boundaries and encourages Sally to hide behind her poly personality to cross boundaries. This makes me very concerned for your sister. It's wild. Poly just means that she's open to multiple sexual and/or romantic relationships at the same time. It does not mean that anything with her desired genitals is free game, or that they are obligated to tolerate unwanted sexual or romantic advances. Responsible polyamory preaches respect of boundaries, your own and others, communication, and respecting a no when you hear one. She doesn't sound poly. She sounds like a sex pest, an attention grabber who just likes using polyamory as an excuse. I too am concerned for OP's sister, because Sally sounds like the type of person who would throw a royal fit and cause drama within the relationship when sister starts getting more attention than herself and probably has. Quote, flirting with people is part of her personality? That's not a personality trait, that's a choice. Flirting with non-single, monogamous people who don't want it is sexual harassment. Not the asshole. I'm less nice than you, but my husband, who is frickin' gorgeous and gets hit on a lot, is even less nice than me. He scared off my ex-best friend so badly after she propositioned him that she hasn't popped her head back up in 20 years. And he did it all by using his words. It was glorious. OP says, "My poor boyfriend is so socially anxious, he just kept telling her, no thank you, even when she wasn't asking a yes or no question. I told him that he doesn't owe anyone kindness, especially if they're making him uncomfortable, but he just wants to get away from her, and I get that." And back up to the post, we have an update. "So I talked to my sister and brother-in-law. We are going to get together tonight along with my boyfriend and have a sit-down conversation about this. According to my sister, who read the text exchange between my brother-in-law and Sally about the situation, shit isn't adding up. Brother-in-law wanted to invite Sally so she could defend herself, and I absolutely vetoed that. I was not going to have my boyfriend's harasser in the same room as him. I will update once I know more." Yeah, no, I think my opinion on this is that she was just sexually harassing him, and the brother-in-law is completely cool with it. And if he can condone this absolutely disgusting Diddy-like behavior at his wedding, of all places, like, come on, time and place, imagine what else she does when you're not looking, that he is well aware of, behind closed doors or out in the open world, who knows. If this is something that he can come down on you for and be like, how dare you come after this gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful, perfect woman, I can't imagine what else she's doing out there. And yeah, OP, I would look at him differently after this, because what the hell? This is not normal. Don't give me that flirting with people as part of her personality bullshit. No, we have standards and rules in society, and she is flagrantly floundering around them. You cannot be a flagrant flounderer in this day and age and think you can get away with it. There are consequences for your actions, believe it or not, and I hope the karmic hammer of justice slaps her across the face when someone does match her equal rights with equal lefts in the future. Because that's what's gonna happen. And she will have deserved it when it does happen, because she's not checking herself, he's not checking her, someone else will check her out. Probably not in the way that she's expecting it to happen. So, maybe take this as a lesson to disconnect from these people, OP. Go into that conversation with an open mind, but expect that it's not going to go the way that you want it to. Thank you for the story. Looking forward to what happens next. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. If you liked it, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.